Hello, we have 5 raised to power 4311 versus 4 raised to power 5311 and want to find out which of them is the bigger number. So, solution, we have 5 raised to power 4311 versus 4 raised to power 5311. Which of these is the bigger number? So, let's first start with this right here. We have 5 raised to power 4311. Let's simplify this. Now, this can be written as 5 raised to power 4000 plus 311. 4000 plus 311 will give us 4311. Okay, and with this, at this junction, if we apply this rule that a raised to power n plus m, this equals a raised to power n times a raised to power m. So applying this rule right here, this becomes is equal to 5 raised to power 4000 then times 5 raised to power 311, such that with this we have it as is equal to 5 raised to power 4000 can be written as 4 times 1000 times 5 raised to power 311. At this junction, applying this rule that if you have a raised to power n times m, this equals in bracket a raised to power n power of m. Applying this right here, this becomes is equal to, we have in bracket 5 raised to power 4 all power of 1000 times 5 raised to power 311. So with this, 5 power of 4 is 5 in 4 places. So 5 times 5 times 5 times 5. And this, once you multiply it, you will get 625. So 5 power of 4 is equal to 625. So is equal to, here becomes 625 raised to power 1000 times 5 raised to power 311. From here, simplifying this further, we can express 1000 as 689 plus 311. So 625 raised to power 689 plus 311. If you add this, we'll get back 1000. Then times 5 raised to power 311. Also, applying the rule that if you have a raised to power n plus m, this equals a raised to power n times a raised to power m. Applying this rule right here, this is then equal to 625 raised to power 689 times 625 raised to power 311, then times 5 raised to power 311. At this junction, if you have a raised to power c times b raised to power c, this is equal to, since they have the same exponent, you will multiply the bases. So ab, then all power of c. Since they have the same exponent, you multiply the base and pick one of the exponents. So applying this right here and here also, we have the same exponents but different bases. So we're going to multiply the bases and pick one of the exponents. So this becomes is equal to, we have this 625 all raised to power 689, then times, we're going to multiply the base. So 625 times 5, then we'll pick one of the powers all raised to power 311. So from here, this is equal to 625 raised to power 689 times 625 times 5 is equal to 3125. Then all raised to power 311. At this junction, we are going to stop it right here. So let us then solve the other one and see which of them is the bigger number. So the other one is, we have it that we have 4 raised to power 5 311. We have solved for 5 raised to power 4 311. So the next one is 4 raised to power 5 311. Now let us simplify this. From here, we can write 4 raised to power 5 311 as 4 raised to power 5000 plus 311. So we can then apply this formula that a raised to power b plus c is equals to a raised to power b times a raised to power c. Applying this right here, this becomes 4 raised to power 5,000, then times 4 raised to power 311. Now at this junction, we can express 5,000 as 5 times 1,000. So 4 raised to power 5 times 1,000 times 4 raised to power 311. And from here, applying this rule that a raised to power b times c is equals to a raised to power b all power of c. Applying this rule right here, this becomes in bracket 4 raised to power 5 all raised to power 1000 times 4 raised to power 311. So with this, we can still simplify this further. Don't forget that 4 is 2 raised to power 2, then all power of 5, and this is raised to power 1000, then times 4 raised to power 311. Now, at this junction, we are also going to apply this formula that if you have a raised to power n, all power of m, this equals a raised to power n times m. Applying this right here, this becomes 2 raised to power 2 multiply power 5. So that becomes 2 times 5 is 10. Then all raised to power, we have 1000. And this multiplies 4 raised to power 311. So with this, the next thing for us to do is to get the value of 2 raised to power 10. Now, 2 raised to power 10 is equal to 2 raised to power 5 times 2. 5 times 2 is 10. This is then equal to 2 raised to power 5, all power of 2. And 2 raised to power 5 is 32. Then all raised to power 2. 32 squared is equal to 1024. So from here, 2 power of 10 equals 1024. So with this, the value of 2 raised to power 10 is equal to 1024, then all raised to power 1000, then times 4 raised to power 311. From here, we can express 1000 as 689 plus 311. This becomes, we have 1024, then 1000 becomes 689 plus 311, then times, we have 4 raised to power 311. Shows that from here, applying this rule, that if you have a raised to power n plus m, this equals a raised to power n times a raised to power m. Applying this rule right here, this becomes 1024 all raised to power 689 times 1024 all raised to power 311, then times 4 raised to power 311. And with this, again, we are then going to apply this rule that if you have a raised to power c times b raised to power c, this equals a times b all raised to power c. Applying this right here, this then becomes, we have 1024 all raised to power 689, then times, so you multiply the base, 1024 times 4, then you pick one of the exponents, so 311. This is then equal to 1024 all raised to power 689 times, now if you multiply 1024 times 4, we'll get 4096 all raised to power 311. And this is the value of 4 raised to power 5311. Now, we are then going to compare the value that we got from 5 raised to power 4311. The value that we got the value to be equal to 625 raised to power 689 times 3125 raised to power 311. So comparing it, we got the value to be equal to 625 all raised to power 689 times 3125 all raised to power 311. So comparing this, the power right here is the same, but 1024 is greater than 625. So this is an increase in the value right here. Also, the power right here 311 is the same as the power right here 311, but the base number, which is 4096 and 3125. 4096 is the higher number, greater than 3125. So with this, we can conclude that the bigger number is 4 raised to power 5311. So this will give us the bigger number without using a calculator. So with this, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. Bye.